Hey guys, welcome back to part 3 of a Revell 125th 62 Impala SS video build. So leading off where we left off last time, we're going to do some parts cleanup. So we've got all our chrome parts have been placed in bleach. I mixed this stage, no idea how I managed that, but literally I've cut them all off, popped them in some bleach, and minutes later they are completely stripped of all the chrome. Now the wheels, the Pegasus wheels I've left chromed. We're going to give those a semi-gloss coat later on that will dull them down. And we've got all the parts mounted up here ready for primer. So anything that's going to be chromed, I've got on a separate stand. And I'm priming them all in Mr. Surfacer 1500 Black, which will form the basis for our black base coat. This is going to be 2K clear coated, chromed, sealed, and 2K'd again, and give us a beautiful chrome finish as we go. I've also got all the other parts cut off and cleaned off the interior as well. I find doing it this way, it's much more efficient to clean everything up in one go, priming it all in one go, paint it all in one go, etc, etc. The only exception I did on this was the engine. I just did it to build it up to see how it would look. So several light coats of black Mr. Surfacer, building it up. We get nice black primed pieces. And like I say, we can move on to other parts as well that aren't going to be chromed and get those all primed up at the same time. So it can be a bit laborious, cleaning it all up in one go, priming it all in one go, but trust me, it is so much more efficient. Once everything is painted, you can detail paint it all together, you can assemble it together. It will change the way your builds go. It'll make you a lot more efficient and faster. It just seems to drag out a bit with priming and things like that, but you're only really doing one priming session then in one go. So it's less airbrush cleaning, it's less sitting in the booth, yada yada yada. It has its pluses and its negatives, but for me, the pluses outweigh the negatives. So nice base color of black on our rear lights around. Like I say, we'll all that dry and we'll come back later on and 2K it. So looking good. Like I say, it does form the base of our 2K. There is a lot of parts to either chrome here or we're going to do in body color. So yeah, we just need to take our time, priming everything nice and carefully. Then we've got all our interior color to do as well. Now, I did kind of struggle in interior color this, and I went for a few options and eventually settled on white. So if I remember right, I used Papyrus, which is like a off-white greeny colour, which I thought was perfect with the exterior colour. Now, fun story is I did paint it all up and then give it a grey wash, and the wash just ruined it. So I was like, yeah, no, we're not doing that. We're doing the interior a different colour, a lighter colour. We're going to prime this in Tamiya Grey Primer. And we're also going to add some green body colour trim panels to the interior part as well to break them up a little bit and hopefully make it look a little more interesting. So first of the green colours is the air cleaner. So this was sprayed up in the exterior Sausalito Fire Mist colour. So primed in grey. Was it grey or was it white? It might have been white actually. Primed it in white Tamiya primer. And then we're going to do several coats on each part. So we're going to do the air cleaner, the valve covers, we're going to do the backs of the seats, we're going to do the dashboard inserts, we're going to do the rear seat insert as well, all in body colour, just to give it a bit of interest on the interior. And while it might not be everyone's taste, I think it ended up looking really good. I think it just added a little bit of a different touch to the interior and the engine bay, and yeah, it gives it a bit of a focal point, and I thought it looked quite good myself. So just nice light thin coats, building it up exactly the same way we did the bodywork, because we want the body colour to match, and we are going to clear coat these later on as well, which is why I'm painting them now with the chrome bits, so we can 2K it all together later on. So again, a few coats later, and there we go. We've got the firewall done as well. I forgot about that bit. And I also forgot about the piece of trim between the lower bumper and the grille on the front of the car. So thankfully, Dan Parent reminded me. Cheers, Dan. And I got that done as well. So, like I say, lots of parts to paint, lots of different colours. But when you batch it all together, it makes the job more efficient and faster. And for me, I've been building like this for quite some time. It is a much more efficient way of building. I'm not going to lie, cleaning all the parts up in one go is the most boring job in the world. It is my least favourite part of the build. Is parts cleanup, cut them off, sanding them, de-seaming them, etc. I absolutely hate doing that, but it does make it quicker in the long run. Like I say, doing these colours in the body colour, I think it's going to break up the white interior quite nice and just add a little bit of detail to it. We are going to gloss it, like I said, as well, so it will look nice and shiny on the interior. Again, the Pro Scale paint Sausalito green going down, absolutely beautiful. It really is. Now, this hardened Steenbeck, the original plan with this was to paint the entire car with it. Not changing airbrushes, use the one airbrush and see how it performs. And while it did perform very, very well, the main trait of harder Steenbecks I don't like is the spitting of paint. All airbrushes spit, the harder Steenbecks just seem to spit 10 times more paint than any others. So I quickly switched back to my Iwaters. And like I say, I'm an Iwata fanboy through and through, so that's where we're going. I literally bought this Evolution, had it for about 4 days, used it, didn't like it, and moved it on. So I did give it a fair crack of the whip, but yeah, just doesn't do it for me. So we've got Pro Scale Paint Paprius White Leather Interior Colour. So this is an off-white with a hint of green in it, and I thought this would be a great colour to go with our exterior colour. So several light coats, building up on all the interior, and then we get a mask off, which took forever doing on the backs of these seats, and paint them body colour again. So a lot of work in this kit, but a very satisfying build because everything fits together so well. Like I said at the very beginning, it's a really high quality Revell kit. Highly recommended. There's several sites on the internet selling this kit for £25 at the minute. And for me, it's an absolute bargain. So we stripped off those horrendous Pegasus Chrome discs, and now we've got some Pro Scale Paints steel. We're going to give them all a paint up. They've been primed in Mist Service of 1500 black, and just a couple of light coats of our Pro Scale steel colour. We'll get these looking really good. We'll brush paint the calipers later on. But for now, we're just getting the base colour down on the discs. Same on the carburetor as well. We're going to get some colour down on these. So we went with antique gold on the carburetor. Again, whether it's right or not, I don't know. But this is the colour I chose to do. And did opt for chrome, but changed my mind. I thought, no, we'll go with this colour. And again, another beautifully pigmented metallic colour from Pro Scale. Looks absolutely fabulous. And then another boring job, masking. Probably my second most disliked part of modelling, but I do kind of enjoy it sadistically at the same time. I'm a little bit odd like that. It is very satisfying masking parts when it goes right. I'm very, very frustrated when it goes wrong. There's nothing worse than peeling that masking tape off and you've got bleed through on the body. So take your time here, and this is why it's so important to use a high quality masking tape. I see a lot of people saying, "Oh, use blue painter's tape, yada yada yada," and then they come back on, "Oh no, it bled through." It's just, as I always say, you get out of the hobby what you put in it. And is it worth scrimping on a £3, $3 piece of masking tape? Or is it worth spending the money and getting a masking tape that's reliable? Interior has been flocked by my wonderful assistant Hannah. This is Pro Scale White Flock. So that's been flocked up as well. And with the seats masked up, we're going to spray the body colour onto these as well. So this is going to be tricky to do because we need to 2K this as well. So we've somehow got to hold this while we 2K it. And while the 2K is still wet, peel the masking tape off so we get the nice demarcated edge and it doesn't dry on the masking tape and pull off at a later date. So a little bit tricky to do. But again, this green on the white looks absolutely fantastic. And for the time it took to do and the trickiness, I think it was well worth doing. And the same on this back panel as well. We painted that green. Now we are 2K in here. I've not shown the prep, but we're just going through same procedure we do with the bodywork. It is 2-to-1 mix of the clear and activator and just 5% of thinner. We do a first wet coat, a second wet coat, and check for a third if anywhere else is needed. Doing all the black parts in preparation for chrome as well. And this is, again, is the base for our chrome. So we want a nice flawless 2K finish here. And we don't want to touch it at all. So we need to get as good a finish out of the brush as we possibly can. Again, preparation is key. And this is the stage that will mark how well our chrome system will look. Quite a lot of parts to do. So parts management, quite important. Make sure none of them fall off or knock each other, and that you don't miss any out as well. As you can see, we've gone back to the eye waters now, doing what I know best. And then the tricky parts at the back of these seats. So I've mounted up into bulldog clips in the hope that they will hold them enough in a bit when I need to unmask it. But what a difference doing the body colour panels did on the seats. It just brought the interior alive. Like I say, I really wanted to give it a grey wash, but the grey wash was a no-go. It just didn't work at all, which is a real shame. So 2K has been drying for 4 hours. That is the recommended time the chrome system instructions state. So here's our chrome paint. Again, from ProScale, magical in the bottle. The way it swirls around looks absolutely phenomenal. Be careful with this, it is very thin. This is my metallic brush. I use my Iwata CR3, I use for all my metallics. So the chrome paint is super thin. So be careful because it spills very easily. Definitely use a pipette to get it out of the bottle as well. And what we want to do is put several light coats of this down with, I find, applying heavier coats at the end definitely beneficial. So I like to just put light coats down to begin with, just all the way around, probably 2 or 3 light coats, and then come in slightly heavier at the end to get the nice metallic finish that we require. So you can see the coverage there already looking absolutely fantastic. This chrome paint, it's almost magical. It looks amazing in the bottle swirling round, and the job it does as a chrome paint is phenomenal. Now, this needs to be sealed and 2K'd again. Without that, it's quite delicate, as most chrome finishes are. Ours comes with a sealer, and when done properly and 2K'd, it's impervious to anything and almost everything. You can handle it without loss of shine, and it is kind of that golden goose, I suppose it is, of the chromes, because it works, it looks great, and you can handle it, which none of the other chromes you really can. So like I say, build up nice and slow. Don't be in a rush to get it down. We've got loads of little parts to do, but once you've got a couple of coats down, I'm going to come in a little bit heavier now. And what we're doing now is getting the chrome to self-level out a little bit. And you can see just how amazing that chrome looks. It looks absolutely beautiful. So like I say, you need your black base coat to begin with. So any black paint will do. I use black primer, 2 birds, 1 stone, primer and black paint. Then need to 2K that, let that dry. Then apply the chrome, like we're doing here. Let this dry for, I think it says half an hour to an hour. And then we use the sealer, several light coats of that, let that dry for half an hour. And then we 2K it again, and that's it, job done. It sounds like it's a lot of work. It's actually not that bad. And I'll be honest, for the finish it gives, I think it's well worth the time and effort. It's the best chrome I've used. It is super reliable, super easy to use. And like I say, once it's 2K'd at the end, it's impervious to everything. You can handle it, you can glue it, you can polish it should you want as well. It just works absolutely phenomenally. You'll see how good it looks on this car at the end of the build. Like I said, we've got lots of little chrome parts to do, so we're just going through them all, doing systematically. And here we are about an hour later, putting our sealer down. So this isn't a lacquer-based product. This needs clearing out with an alcohol-based cleaner. So either UMP cleaner or ProScale degreaser will do the job. What you want to do with this is just follow the instructions that comes with the kit. Every chrome set we get, we sell. It comes with instructions. It's very light mist coats. You should barely see it going on. Let it flash off for 5 minutes and do 3 coats in total. Let that dry. You'll lose the shine of the 2K. That's the idea of it. It protects it from the 2K. So you lose the shine of the chrome, but the idea of it is the sealer protects the chrome from the 2K. So once you apply your full wet coat of 2K, you will see the chrome come back. Now the most important part of this next step is we're going to 2K. We're going to mix 2-to-1 mix of clear to activator, but we're not putting any thinner in. Do not put thinner in this mix. So it's just 2-to-1 parts of clear and activator. So 5 milliliters of clear to 2.5 milliliters of activator. No thinner at all. That's what the instructions state. Pop your lid on, and again, we've got the same 2K protocol here. Fresh paper, fresh booth, mask on, the lot, all the safety precautions done. And what we're going to do here is get everything out of the way. We've mixed it all up. We're ready to go. And then we can get all our pieces. And this is going to take some doing now because we've got lots of parts to do. So parts management here now is vital to make sure that you make sure everything's had the equal amount of 2K. Nothing touches, nothing falls off. I've sped this up because it's a lot of footage otherwise. So for the first coat, I just put a nice even coat down. It's not really a wet coat, but we're just going through. Now, most of these parts are CA glued to cocktail sticks, so you don't want to hit them or knock them, otherwise they'll fall off. And when they're 2K'd, if they fall off, you're more than likely going to be starting over again on that part. So just time taken here, very important. As you can see, we're not hosing the 2K, I'm just getting that first kind of wet coat down gently. And then we'll let that flash off for 5 minutes and come back. So it's exactly the same way as doing a body, except we're not applying any thinner in the clear coat. And where it's dulled off the sealer, putting the 2K on, the shine should come back almost instantly. You'll see it come back. You can see it on that big piece now, the rear part. The shine is back. Absolutely fantastic. So it might take you a couple of goes to get the best out of the chrome system. But like I say, nice light coats of chrome with heavier ones at the end. I find building up slowly works better. Light coats of the sealer. Very light coats of the sealer. And then the 2K with no thinner in. And you should get a fantastic finish like I've got here. It's a very realistic looking chrome finish. And thankfully, semi-glossing the Pegasus wheels matched my Pro Scale Chrome perfectly. So the car just looked absolutely perfect at the end of the build. Like I say, there are a lot of chrome parts on this car. So just take your time here, work your way around systematically until you're happy everything has got a nice even coat. Like I say, 2 coats should be enough, exactly as with the full body. You want a nice flawless finish. Smaller parts tend to be covered quite quick. They're always painted really fast. But on these grills and that, just make sure you've got a nice even coverage all over. You can see just how nice that chrome looks. It is certainly getting there. It looks absolutely beautiful. Way better than the kit chrome. And like I say, unlike many other chromes out there, this can be handled. Now look, you see, this is where you gotta be careful. I've dropped that, so it's like, uh-oh. Thankfully, it landed on my finger and not the floor. And I grabbed it with the spare bulldog clip that was thankfully nearby. And where it hit my finger, it's left a tiny little mark in the 2K. But again, because our 2K is so forgiving, a wet coat over the top, it self-levels out. And you can't even see where you did it. If that had landed on the bench, it would have got water in it. I'd have had to have stripped it and started again. So very, very lucky there. So like I say, just be careful with all the parts and make sure they're all securely mounted. Leave that alone now for a few days so they're fully set. And here we are now with a nice blurry picture of our engine, which we're going to start to assemble. So we've got our new Pro Scale paints distributors. We've got some V8 distributors on the site now as well. These are by far the best ones I've seen. Turn metal, plastic, you get the little rubber boots for your spark plugs and a distributor outlet as well. The wires are long enough for you to pre-cut to any length you need, and they are by far the best. Now admittedly they're not the cheapest, but they are by far the best ones I have seen. We've got them in black, blue, red and yellow, and they just look absolutely fantastic. So this is my second time using one of these now. I think I used one in... Ooh, what did I build before this? I forget now, but it's my second time using them, I think. And yeah, they are really good. So we've got a element manifold looking really good in the old, I can't remember if it's superfine silver or bright aluminium now. We're just going to drill the hole a little bit bigger to take our distributor. Like so. Get the perfect fit for it, like that. And then we'll glue that onto the engine. And then we'll drill a hole into the engine using the inlet manifold as our kind of template. There we go. And then hold on the manifold. We can use that, like I say, as a template to drill into the engine itself. We don't need to trim the distributor then. We can just pop it straight in, and it didn't even need gluing in place. It just sat absolutely perfect where needed. There we go. Looks fantastic. By far the best distributors I've seen. And then what we need to do is we're going to offer up the exhausts, because looking online, the spark plug leads just sit in between the exhausts. And we're going to very gently drill them with a 0.5mm drill bit for each one of the mounting. Well, each one of the spark plugs. So drill bits, I like to use the Rotorcraft bits for just general drilling. And for anything precise, I use the Zuma ones that, again, we sell over on the website. Very nicely priced set of drill bits, and they go micro fine as well. And like I said earlier, I'm not going to do the firing order, but I will randomly mix up the leads so it looks like it's firing order. So I'm just spreading them all out randomly. And I'm going to start popping them in place. So we put a little tiny bit of CA glue around the cylinder heads. So these have been painted and 2K cleared, and I think they look great against the orange. It looks so much nicer when it's in the car. It looks a bit odd right now, but we're going to glue these in place now, get them in. Like so, and then we can start mounting the exhaust. And then we can start putting our leads in place. So make sure you get the exhaust the right way around. Twice now I've glued the exhaust in the wrong way, not looking properly what I'm doing. So it's something I always double check. If you do get a little spillage of CA glue, if you're quick, you can wipe it off really fast. Now, to put the leads in place, we're going to put the little pre-cut spark plug boots on. And just pop it on a couple of them. Like so. And then we can trim it, bend it round, and we're going to just leave it around the back of the engine. Push it in place. And then we'll pop a little bit of glue over the top and pull the boot down over the top so it's sticking straight out. So a tiny little bit of glue. Bob's glue with these precision applicators, absolutely fantastic. Gets the glue exactly where you want it. So get the wire in place, then bring the little boot down, pop it in place, get it nice and straight. Get the wire where you want it and straighten it all up. And we'll repeat that for all the others. The transmission, we're going to brush paint in Tamiya X, I think it's 11 enamel paint. So the Tamiya enamel paint's very nice. Take a lot longer to dry, so you've got to be wary of this. So you don't pick something up. It takes a few hours to get even remotely dry, and it'll still remain tacky. But for paint coverage, absolutely fantastic and very finely pigmented as well. And then we're going to brush paint some other parts as well. This part's not the right colour. I think it's going to go like a gold colour later on, but for now I'm just painting it silver. Got our air cleaner and carb in place as well. And with the engine wired up, it's looking really good. So we can drop some CA glue in the engine mounting points on the chassis now as well. Doesn't need a lot at all, just needs to go in exactly the right position, which is where the precision tips come in on their own. And then offer up the back of the transmission first into the locating hole. Come on, you can find the hole. There we go. Helps you put the right part in. And then we just sit and hold the front bit. I think I knocked the air cleaner off about now. Yep, told you. So we'll take that off, get it glued in place, and then we'll pop that back on later. There we go. Really nice engine on this kit. It actually is. I mean, would it look better with the cross ram? I don't know, because I kind of like this engine. I think it looks really well. I like the green trim on it as well. The green air cleaner looks good. I've painted around the outside edge black on the air cleaner as well. I think it looks really good. I think when we see it all together at the end on the car, I think it just looks really good. Prop shaft, just finagle it in place, which it fits in spot on. And then the exhausts, a couple of strategic places of super glue. We can get this all lined up where it's supposed to sit. There we are. Spot on. Same on the other side as well. So glad I drilled out the edge of these, because you can't really see them that much, but you can if you look close. And they definitely look better drilled out. Definitely well worth doing. And then the rear shocks, which I painted in blue. These sit staggered on the back. They don't sit symmetrical. There we go. Get them in and lined up. And there we go. And then the interior. So we've got this green piece of trim for the back, which is the body colour bit we painted and 2K'd earlier. So again, just breaks up the monotony of that white back seat. That can be then glued in place. And then we've got some trim pieces for the dashboard as well. We've got some decals to go on the instruments as well, the speedo and whatnot to put on later too. But again, it just breaks up the monotony of the white. We also add some silver to it later on with one of our Edding paint marker pens. Gear lever in place in the centre. Just glue it in place. We've got a gear knob to paint white later and a decal to pop on that as well. And then we'll glue in our rear bench seat. Line it all up with the interior. It's definitely white. It reminds me of like an 80s white stiletto shoe. I don't know why. It's just all white. It's literally all white. But thankfully, as I say, where we painted the back of these seats green and a few inserts here and there, it breaks up that monotony of white. It just makes it look a little bit more interesting. The white flocking from ProScale looking really good. And then using an Edding paint marker pen. So these are actually paint. It's not a marker. It's not ink. It is actual physical paint in a pen. These things are brilliant. The silver is really nice, really vibrant. You can touch up window winder handles with it. Buttons on the dash, so on and so forth. And they look really, really good. So again, just breaks up all the monotony of the white. And then same on the dash, we just hit some of the buttons and the dials. And like I say, we've got a whole host of decals to pop in there as well for the speedo and the gauges and what have you. So if you take your time, now these pens are available in different colours. You can get different size nibs. They're not cheap at all, but they are very, very high quality. And they actually do a good job of adding detail to parts like this. So there we go, that's looking good. And now we can apply our door cards. Nice bead of CA glue down the side. Again, these precision tips, can't recommend them enough. You can get them on Amazon. They're cheap as well. And they just allow you to get the CA glue exactly where you need it. Now these sit at a funny angle. I thought I didn't have it right at first, but they do sit at a strange angle, these. So they kind of angle in, which I thought, that's not right. But then I looked at it, I was like, oh yeah, it is correct. Hold it for a second or two. Then repeat for the other side, get the dashboard in place, some CA glue on the chassis, look for the mounting points. There we go. And it fits in beautiful. Really nice kit. I've said this several times through the build. This is a really good kit to build. No fit issues whatsoever. Really nice engine, nice interior, nicely detailed, goes together with no issues. Yeah, highly recommend this one to anybody. So as with any glue, just hold it for a second or two, let it grab. Like I say, adding that colour accented interior I think definitely helps break up the monotony a little bit. And then it's our radiator in place last of all. And there we go. We're going to leave that there today. We're back for the final part very soon. As always, you can get early access on all these videos, an exclusive Saturday bench update, 10% off Pro Scale paints, and an exclusive Facebook Messenger chat group, and support a Facebook group by becoming a patron in the link below. Catch you next time, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.